In the past few years, I've reviewed a couple of Kingdom Hearts HD collections, and I've always gone along with the "these games are fun but those stories are bullshit, eh?" shtick. To an extent, that's how I feel about them. To an even greater extent though, I love the plot to all these games, bullshit and all. So, I've got a lot invested in Kingdom Hearts 3, and so does Square Enix. I've been waiting a long time to see the resolution of this story, and to see the next generation of Kingdom Hearts' magical mashup of Disney and JRPG anime pish. Set phasers to weeb, it's time to dive in. Kingdom Hearts 3 has a weird opening. It doesn't really feel like a massive event like it should do. It starts off more like an episode of a soap opera instead of the concluding chapter of an epic story. Less Return of the King and more Rover's Return of the King. Does that joke work? What I mean is that, yeah, within the first hour you're running up cliff sides and slaying a titan, but before that it's all casual conversations with everybody stood around tables and sitting down in chairs. It's like Kingdom Hearts 2 happened yesterday instead of 15 bloody years ago.
No fanfare?
Sure enough though, before too long, the game settles into that familiar Kingdom Hearts rhythm of dazzling pyrotechnic fights against the Heartless and running around lush Disney-inspired levels. It's comforting and thrilling all at once. Sora effortlessly dances around baddies, whacking them with his big key as you mash away on the X button, just like always. Occasionally you'll unleash a spell or a team attack and watch the screen fill with even more dazzling lights and colours. For pure retina bleeding effect, there's also the new attraction attacks, where Sora and his pals jump on rides from Disney World. There's something genuinely hilarious about beating up a boss with the help of a merry-go-round. At the start of the game, Master Yen Sid tells Sora that he's lost all his powers and abilities, but that's a pack of lies.
No biggie.
Before the end of the first world, Sora's defeated about 4 giant bosses and run up the side of Mount Olympus. Kingdom Hearts is a game of excess, you see. It's big fights, big colours, big set pieces, and, of course, big emotional moments. We'll get to that later because I've got a lot to say.
Done!
One thing that's definitely bigger this time are the worlds you visit. It's a fair criticism of the Kingdom Hearts series up till now that the levels all felt a little bit like film sets, dead and empty the moment the fighting stops. They've always had a problem with a convincing sense of geography. That's changed for the better now. These levels are giant, mostly seamless worlds, packed with detail and with fewer loading screens to traverse. It means there are much fewer moments in Kingdom Hearts 3 where you're left in a maze of interconnected boxes hunting the right pixel to activate the next cutscene, at least compared to the old games. There are even NPCs cutting about some of the towns Sora visits, which all add to the feeling of being in a real Disney World instead of visiting a Disney theme park after the gates have shut. There's still the age-old Kingdom Hearts issue of the map being too wee though. You might as well never get a map because you can't open it and look at the layout of a whole area. You only ever see the wee bit at the top of the screen. Movement in Kingdom Hearts 3 is the best the series has ever seen. Mario isn't going to be sweating anytime soon, but Sora has never felt as solid and as present as he runs up walls, grinds on rails and swings on lampposts. Even just pressing the jump button for a simple, no-frills hop is better than the legs akimbo float from Kingdom Hearts of old. Almost every world has dizzying verticality and smartly designed nooks and crannies begging to be explored for secret chests and other treasures. And if it wasn't so much fun just running around as Sora, I wouldn't have bothered finding half of them. This is the most solid, well put together Kingdom Hearts game yet. It also looks incredible. I'm running on PS4 Pro, so I'm not sure how other consoles handle the game, but there's a real depth to the colours and subtle warmth to the lighting that helps make the worlds from Tangled, Toy Story, Monsters Inc and the rest all look authentic. It really feels like these are proper little sequels to the films you've watched a million times. They're not crudely drawn, cheap homages, this is the real deal. There's a wee bit at the start of the Toy Story world when Sora first meets Woody and the gang in Andy's room and they decide to team up and go on an adventure. The gang hop out of Andy's room and onto the street and I turned the camera around to see Woody and Buzz running alongside me, and the animation of Woody's loose, puppet-like run was so perfectly captured, so authentic and accurate to the film that I felt a real connection to what was happening. It was as if a burst of welcome nostalgia overtook me for a moment, and I was transported to the feeling of being 8 or 9, going to the pictures in air with my mum and dad to see Toy Story for the first time. For me, that's the magic of Kingdom Hearts. A few reviews of Kingdom Hearts 3 have mentioned that all the Disney worlds feel a bit superfluous to the main thread running through the game, as if they're there to tick the boxes of what's expected in a Kingdom Hearts game before getting them out of the way for the real plot.
Oh yes, of course.
On the surface, that's true. There's always been a strange juxtaposition of portentous anime pish and wholesome Disney fun. For me though, playing Kingdom Hearts 3 has reminded me of how vital the Disney worlds are to the whole experience. Kingdom Hearts is a game of childlike, wistful nostalgia, and the themes of each world Sora visits marry up quite well with his quest to save his friends. So, that's Kingdom Hearts 3 then. A comforting continuation of the series that improves on pretty much every aspect of it. In my opinion, it's the best of the bunch, and an essential game if you're into action RPGs. If you're a Kingdom Hearts fan, you've already played it by now. But if you're not deep into the series, rest assured that I think the game's still enjoyable for newcomers. You might be confused at some, well, most of the details, but the worst kept secret in Kingdom Hearts fandom is that nobody really knows what's going on. You can stop watching this review now, safe in the knowledge after such a long development time, Kingdom Hearts 3 was well worth the wait. But there's more to talk about, isn't there? We're about to go deep. You've been warned. Kingdom Hearts 3 isn't the end of Kingdom Hearts. That's probably the most shocking thing. After all this time, after countless spin-offs and hundreds of characters introduced, after the big series baddie meets his end and light prevails over darkness in the most epic of epic battles, Tetsuya Nomura decides to tease us with another chapter to come at some indeterminate point in the future. Perfect. It's no secret that the Kingdom Hearts plot is messy. Multiple versions of the same character travel through time, Sora himself houses the hearts of half a dozen other characters by this point, characters come back to life all over the place, and the motivations of every villain are easy to lose track of. By this point though, Nomura knows how messy it is and how exhausting it can be to try to keep up with it, and I think he's decided to just have fun with the whole thing. A MacGuffin introduced in the prequel movie for the entire series, a literal mystery box, remains unopened after the credits roll, which would be infuriating if it wasn't also so hilarious. For all that complexity though, I think the strength of Kingdom Hearts' storytelling is in its big moments. Its vignettes of characters making noble sacrifices and finding their inner strength and, yes, the power of friendship. That happens a lot. I hate making excuses for bad writing, but for all its messiness and the genuine confusion I felt when the millionth person in a black cloak turned up, there are points in the game where I couldn't help but get swept up in the sheer overwhelming emotion of the game. It's a game about childhood and the tragedy of growing up and leaving innocence behind. It's about friendship, and more specifically, the kind of young, unbreakable bonds of friendship that can shape your whole life if you're lucky enough. Or, unlucky enough, I suppose. It's a game full of loss and heartache, but it never lasts long because there's always a way for the heroes to pull through. And if you let its spell work on you, you'll be swept up just like I was. Look, I'm not throwing my lot in with all those YouTubers that just have to show the world how much they cry at every cutscene. I'm not that desperate. But do you remember when you were wee, playing with toys and making up wee stories for them? That's what Kingdom Hearts is. It's a kid playing with Disney toys, taking them on a big stupid adventure full of, and then this happens, and then this happens, isn't this awesome? Because that's how stories work in little minds with big imaginations. A convoluted mess of nonsensical happenings, which is never less than completely wholesome and compelling because these toys, these characters, matter so much. And who are we in all this? The players of the game? I know who I am, playing Kingdom Hearts in my 30s. I'm the old da watching my kid play with his toys. I'm laughing at the silly nonsense he's come up with, but also wanting to join in and recapture the wonder of being away and letting my imagination run free. I'm hoping desperately that it never has to end and that he never has to grow up, and Kingdom Hearts 3 knows this. In the end, Sora fades away. And while it's an obvious setup for future instalments, it's also a recognition that he has to grow up and stop playing with his toys. So, I'm happy that Kingdom Hearts' particular brand of bullshit plot will continue in the future. I don't care what's in the box or why Sora's in Tokyo. All I care about is seeing my boy grow up and being there for the rest of his adventures.